We're live. Hello, everyone, and shout out to each and every one of you. And thank you guys so much for tuning in to your girl, Siren, right here on the Siren Speak show. Hello, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you, and thank you so much to each and every one of you that come in and give this video a big old fat thumbs up. I really appreciate that too. So today, you guys, we're going to be talking about the need to detox and how we need to detox. There's just a lot of things that we need to understand in regards to our body so that we can live a more fulfilling life. It is our responsibility, you guys, to make sure that we are doing everything that we can to our body, so that we can focus on living in this third dimension human experience that we are in. So today we want to talk about how to detox, why we should detox, and things of that nature. So before we start, I want to give a shout out to the sponsors of this live, of this video, of this message, and of the show. Okay. We want to shout out to Poppin' Quaz. Okay. This is a Georgia-based, family-owned restaurant. Okay. Serving all of that soul food that you can possibly need and or use. Okay. We also want to give a shout out to Fam First Entertainment, which is a Miami-based record label. So if you guys are seeking to get yourself out there to become famous, okay, or do you want to be famous? You can definitely check in with Fam First Entertainment, you guys. We also want to give a shout out to YBMB Bookkeeping. That's your business is my business bookkeeping. You guys always say it is tax time, and there's nothing like getting your taxes prepared right. When you want someone who is very nurturing and someone who's very responsible and someone who's very diligent with the care of your taxes, you definitely want to make sure that you're seeking out the right folk for that. YBMB, your business is my business bookkeeping, is where it is that you want to definitely tune into. So shout out to YBMB Bookkeeping for the sponsoring of this show. Also shout out to Southern Soul LA, you guys. It is a LA-based food restaurant, you guys. I'm sorry. It is a LA-based restaurant, you guys. One of the best foods in town, I can confirm. Okay, so shout out to Southern Soul LA, you guys, for the sponsoring of this show. All right. Also, we want to give a recognition to Spiritual Candies. Okay, Spiritual Candies is my personal health and holistic healing service, you guys, where we focus on getting you what it is that you need so that you can live and sustain a very powerful and blessed life. Okay. So we definitely want to make sure that we are living in the right frequency. We definitely want to make sure that we're living and walking in our purpose, and we're doing everything that we can to sustain, our physical body while we are also living in this physical experience. Okay, so shout out to Spiritual Candies. You guys, our featured products for this month at this time is our beautiful aura spray. This is a protection aura spray, you guys, that we have with this aura spray right here. All you have to do is this is going to shield your aura. Whenever you leave the house, you know how you put on your perfume to smell good? You want to spray your aura with this to seal your aura. Okay, I always tell you, I would never tell you that you're not going to come in contact with negative energy. But what I will tell you is by utilizing this product, you will be prepared, to come in contact with negative energy, because anybody, anywhere, any place, anything can have and hold negative energy that we can come in contact with. Okay. So you definitely want to run over to spiritualcandies.com, and you want to grab you a bottle of this while we have them in stock. This is or will be eventually one of our staple products. But as of right now, as we reintroduce it, you guys, we are limited, right now, right? So if you don't get your hands on one, don't worry, because we will be restocking them. But while they are in stock, you want to get this if you want to shield and protect your aura, especially during this time. After the winter, there's a lot that comes to the surface. Okay, so what's going to happen is we're going to release it. So there's a lot of low vibrational energies that are being released out in the in the world right now, okay? And we're coming in contact with it, which is why we tend to achoo. We end up getting the flu, or we end up getting a cold, or we end up getting sick in some way, shape, or form. We end up getting stomach viruses or stomach bugs, or, you know, irritation with the stomach. So many different things start to happen to us. You guys, you definitely want to be responsible with your body. You want to be responsible with your soul, your frequency, and you definitely want to do everything that you can to protect and shield it. These products are made with all natural herbs, you guys, okay? Also with spring water, okay, and essential oils, all right, that are put together, that come together to make a very powerful punch, okay, with what it is you'll need to protect you while you are out in these streets, okay? So shout out to each and every one of you who get your hands on a bottle of that, okay? Also, we are featuring our copper mugs, our 100% copper mug, you guys, okay? This is mine. I have had this one for about 7 years, okay? But there are so many benefits, and you can do your own research as to the benefits of consuming copper water. What you would do is fill this up. This is about 16 ounces. Fill it up with a natural spring water, or you can use a oh God, what's the other water? I'll get to that, okay? But you can use mainly a spring water, okay? Or distilled water, that's what I wanted to say. Fill this up, and then you can put a lid on top, okay? Let it sit overnight, and in the morning when you wake, this will be the first thing that you consume, right? Drinking water out of a copper mug, you guys, has so many different benefits, okay? Especially for those of us who are trying to work on our gut, those of us who are trying to work on our hormones and our thyroid, okay? And there are other beneficial benefits that come along with consuming water from a copper mug. And like I said, this is 100% copper. This is not like stainless steel or made with anything else. This is 100% copper. So again, this is something that we have a limited supply. I am looking for this to become a staple item, because every time we list these, y'all already know, especially those of us who already had one, y'all know these things fly off the shelf. So get your hands on one. Go over to spiritualcandies.com and get you a genuine copper mug. I cannot speak of what other companies sell. I don't know. They could say copper. Sometimes they say copper, they mean the color. Okay, but you want it to be made of solid 100% copper, and that's what this one is. Okay. So shout out to y'all for taking the responsibility of, your life, stepping in the driver's seat of your life and doing what it is that you can to make sure that you are living a more powerful life. Okay. So I'm looking at my notes, and we're going to be talking about the need to detox. Okay. The need for this detox, you guys. I am going to be having a seminar on February the 22nd. I typically do my seminars on a Sunday because I know that it's usually a day that majority of us, we have to rest. Okay. The seminars are about 45 minutes to an hour long. They're not that long, you guys. So if you are able to get in this upcoming seminar, we're going to be talking in detail about what it is that you will need to do to detox. Okay. We're going to be talking about herbal things that you can take. We're going to be discussing teas. We're going to be discussing more in detail in regards to the need to do this detox. Now, what is this detox? This is the heavy metal detox. Okay. There's a need for us to do a heavy metal detox, you guys, right now. When it comes to the heavy metals, you guys, that's like things like lead, okay? Things like mercury. A lot of these metals are in the air. If you go outside and you see them, them planes spraying and stuff, those chemtrails. Whenever we wake up in the morning and we see fog and we think, oh, that's fog. No, that's the trails. They have fallen from the sky and then they come down to the ground. And so we are breathing in these things, you guys, and we are taking in a lot of these heavy metals through that, along with water, okay, along with food sources, okay, along with alcohol. For those of us who consume alcohol, alcohol often contains high trace amounts of heavy metals, including lead, arsenic, you guys, also mercury, all type of heavy metals that are in alcohol. Also, they can be found in the contaminated water. And when we say contaminated water, we think, well, we're drinking water out the water bottle. We're putting a lot of of trust in these waters. But sometimes, these waters can be produced in factories, that the production system can become contaminated sometimes. And a lot of time we get our hands on some water that is not as fresh as we would like. A lot of our food is contaminated. As you guys can see, you've heard numerous stories about, our lettuce, having salmonella, or our food having salmonella, our fish, our, protein having salmonella, you guys. It's just that with these metals and these bacteria, they can be easily transmitted into our food sources as well as our drinking sources. And we come in contact with them whether we want to or not. I don't think that there's anything we can do to avoid coming in contact with these metals unless you're just not going to breathe. Okay? Because if you say, oh, I'm not going to work on the food, it's in the air. Okay, so unless you go out and you buy some air, you know what I'm saying? You're going to be coming in contact with these heavy metals. And there are signs that things that we can, like when we breathe in these heavy metals, you guys, there are some symptoms that we can experience. For those of you who end up having gut issues, okay, it can be because you have a lot of heavy metals in the body. And when there are heavy metals in the body, that is the party city for parasites, okay? These metals are like magnets for parasites. So the more of the metals that you have in the body, the more likely you have parasites that are able to now attach to you very easily and can now host your body and can cause other things to go on. So we definitely need to pay attention to these heavy metals, okay? Which, like I say, are inside of the body. Now, ways that we can get rid of, heavy metals, you guys, we can do some things like detoxing, okay? The need to detox at least once a month is critical right now. And this is just Siren speaking, okay? These are my personal opinions and my personal beliefs. And I always tell you, the views of the Siren Speak show are not the views of my sponsors. Okay. These are just Siren's views. All right. Things that I believe. Now, when it comes to these metals, you guys, and we can experience all type of, symptoms from having these heavy metals within our body. It can throw off your pH balance. It can throw off your hormones, you guys. It can throw off your odor. It can throw off your food. It can throw off your sensitivity to foods. So many different things that this can do to us. So we definitely want to make sure we get ahead of the game and do things like detoxing. Okay, doing a heavy metal detox, right? If you are interested, you can go over to spiritualcandies.com. We have introduced a heavy metal detoxing tea that we are now releasing, or that we have now released, you guys, where it comes in like an 8-ounce pack, and you can purchase this detoxing tea and you can take it, and it will help you to eliminate, okay, a lot of these heavy metals from the body. Other things that you can do is fasting, of course, but these are not things that are going to be long term. Okay. These are kind of like little small things that you can do to eliminate or ease, okay, the heavy metals from the body. Okay. You can get in the sauna, you guys. The sauna is a great way for you to release some of these heavy metals. Lifestyle changes with foods and drinks, okay? Maybe not eating out as much, because when we think about what these chefs, what they use to cook, sometimes they don't use those eco-friendly pots and pans and things like that. So we get a lot of metal that transfers into our food from just them cooking it. Okay. So yeah, lifestyle with drinking, maybe not drinking as much alcohol. I told you guys, alcohol, do have heavy metals in it. So just not consuming as much alcohol, that can also lead to damaging or inflammation in the gut and things of that nature, which causes it to be very uncomfortable as well. So, one thing I wanted to tell you guys, there is a commercial out now where they're talking about, what is it called? TD. And for whatever reason, I felt the need. When I saw this commercial, I said, oh my God. So TD is tardive dyskinesia. They call it TD. So it is a movement disorder, you guys. And it is characterized, the way they describe it, by involuntary repetitive movement. So in other words, for example, let's say this is what it looks like. It's kind of like this. You know what I'm saying? Like but I'm telling my hand to do this, and I told my arm to raise and do this. But with that, it's these uncontrollable movements that will just happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then I don't know how long it lasts. Sometimes people will stick their, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes their neck will protrude this way. It's kind of like Tourette's. You know how Tourette's syndrome, how you just blurt out stuff or whatever. It's like that, but it's like body movements. Okay. Some people will, hold their hand out like this, and they don't want to do it. Their body just does it automatically. And they said that it comes from like medication. They said it comes from some of the medication that they're giving. I strongly believe that there are heavy metals, okay, in a lot of this medication. Okay, now it has been documented as well. Okay, you can do your research. So with some of the medications that we're taking, heavy metals can be introduced either in the production of it or in the making of it. I'm not really sure. But yes, I really feel like when you think about heavy metals, now we're talking about the possibility of so many metals being inside of us that we can now be programmed. We could possibly be becoming like little, or not really little, but more dense computer systems that can now be controlled and or manipulated, to where if you stand in there and you do this and you don't want to do this and your body just doing it, I'm like, your body is receiving, they're calling it TD. But what I'm seeing of it is your body is receiving the message from somewhere. Okay. If it's not from your brain, there is something somewhere that is telling your hand to do this. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's these uncontrollable body movements. Like some people, let me give you an example. It says face grimacing, lip smacking, tongue protrusion. Like, some people will do that and they don't want to do it, but their body is just doing it. Y'all, this is really freaking me out. Rapid eye blinking, chewing motions. So you just sitting there like, girl, yeah, because and you don't want to do that. So just imagine like that happening. Involuntary movement of the limbs. Okay. Trunk or fingers. You know what I'm saying? Like some people do this and they don't want to, but their fingers is just doing this. It's like, so they're telling us that it's something that they got called TD. Okay. And it's just, when I saw that, I was like, I really feel like that is like nano particles, and I feel like these heavy metals are allowing a lot of this to come into our body. We have to remove these heavy metals so that we can detox these things from our body, you guys, because now they're saying that these symptoms here with the TD can come from medication. It says symptoms can appear within weeks of starting a medication. Y'all, now you going in for certain medication, and now your medication is causing you to easily be manipulated by outside sources. So, these are things that we really have to look into. We really need to look into, y'all. I wanted to come on here and I wanted to talk about this because, like I said, these are things, y'all, this day and age, these are things that anybody is experiencing. And we're talking children, we're talking, middle age, and we're talking more mature, seasoned folk. It doesn't discriminate. Okay. It really, truly doesn't discriminate as to who it is that is being affected by this, but you can take your power back. You can take your power back by doing what it is that you need to do, and the need to do a detox, at least a monthly detox. The reason I would suggest that you guys, go through spiritual candies is because even when it comes to herbal, a lot of us think, okay, I want to go the holistic route because it's safer. The holistic route can also include metals in the herbs too, with the production, because when you're ordering these herbs from specific companies, you don't know what their machine, I'm saying? Those herbs have to be filtered through their machines as well, which can also, place all type of metals inside of those herbs as well. So we're not saying that the herbal route or holistic route is the safest route. That's not what we're saying. Some herbs, you guys, are intentionally grown in, or unintentionally, shall I say, grown in contaminated soil. okay? Because you have the herbs that you're growing, but with the fog, once that fog falls, what happens? It hits those herbs that are growing and it falls into the soil, and then it puts all of those same chemicals inside of the soil. So unless you're growing it, inside of an enclosed area, you're risking all of your crop having those same type of metals. So even when we have the fruit, when we have everything that's growing, that's why I say it seems as if no matter what we do, we're going to be, ingesting these type of heavy metals regardless. But it is our responsibility to at least try to flush some of them out. I would recommend, a heavy metal detox maybe once a month, maybe once every other month for about maybe 2 weeks. Okay. And then, you can either follow that up with a parasite cleanse, or, you can just go back to your regular schedule routine. It's up to you. But with the way things are going right now, you guys, like I said, we have the young ones that are having, health issues. We have women in their late 20s and early to mid 30s that are having health issues that typically a woman in her late 50s to 60s will start to experience. We all as a people are starting to feel tired. These kids, back in our day, we used to be able to go outside and we play. We played until the street lights come on, okay? Our mama used to have to beg us to come in the house and threaten us to come in the house. But this day and age, these kids don't want to leave their bedroom nor the couch. It's not too often that they want to get outside, and these kids just, nothing appears to entertain them anymore. Everything is just like this nowadays, and that's how we're being filled with these nanoparticles and these heavy metals and these parasites and stuff. So that's why I say, you guys, it is our responsibility to take back our power, to do what it is that we can so that we can move forward and live just a little bit easier, y'all. I mean, while we here. Okay. While we are here, we're here. So we got to make sure we're doing everything that we can to make this existence, okay, or this time be as easy as it possibly can. And these are just things that you can do to, like I say, ease it up a little bit. I'm not saying that this will make your life better. I'm not trying to treat or diagnose. This is not any form of medical advice that I'm giving. This is just me, speaking on my experience and, from the energies. I go a lot by energies, okay? When we're looking at the cosmos, is as within, so without, okay? And when we're talking about as within, that's when we're looking at the energy of the cosmos. And when we have that energy, it's going to happen here. So we're looking at what it is that will take place and how do we ease through these transitional phases of the cosmos. And we just have to make sure that we are responsible with our energy. We have to make sure we are responsible with our frequency. I've told you guys for years, I say your frequency is going to be the new money. Okay, your finances, your lifestyle, everything is going to be depending on your frequency. Back during the age of Pisces, when everything was manipulated and everything was so coded, money was placed inside of the dollar. You know what I'm saying? It was placed inside of the coins, and that's where we put, our dependency on that. As you can see, the price of the dollar, the value of the coin is dropping tremendously. And, it's moving into a more societal base currency. Okay, where you will have that social credit score and things of that nature. So it's moving towards this. I don't want to say digital, but I want to say cosmic currency. It looks like that's what it's moving towards, more of a cosmic currency. And with a cosmic currency, you guys, your frequency will be determining how much you make, how much you are able to experience, what your life will be like. And this is moving forward, y'all. Y'all see, they're no longer taking pennies. They're no longer giving you pennies. When you go to certain places and you pay and they have to give you change back, they will not give you pennies. They will take a loss and be like, all right, if we owe you 9 cents, we're going to just give you a dime. You know what I'm saying? They're not giving any pities. When you go to a lot of these stores and a lot of these businesses, they're not taking cash. They're like, no, we don't accept cash. So we're already we've moved into the digital currency a while ago. You guys, a lot of people think we're getting ready to move into a digital currency, but we did that with the introduction of credit card and debit card. Okay. Now we're moving into a cosmic currency. Now, the thing about a cosmic currency is that it can't be manipulated, but it can be infiltrated, okay? Which means, for example, let's say when it comes to your cosmic currency, according to your bloodline, according to your DNA or your blueprint, you're supposed to be a millionaire, right? You're supposed to be very wealthy and very successful. Now, someone can hack into your frequency and, in exchange. Okay. So now you like, I don't get it. Why am I not making any money and things of that nature? Because your frequency, has possibly been hacked. And they can do that when we vibrate to all of these heavy metals. Okay. This is why we're being loaded with these heavy metals so that we can be easily accessed and we can be easily infiltrated. And, they can continue to live the lifestyle that they're living while we're continuing to watch them live our lifestyle. Okay, so this is how we have to take our power back. This is how we have to take back control over our life. If you really want to live that lifestyle that you're writing in your journal, that you're saying your affirmations about, if you really want to live that lifestyle and experience that lifestyle, then there are some critical changes that you're going to have to make. And there are some things that you're going to have to do. You're going to have to be responsible for your frequency. So yes, this is what we're going to end up having to do is that heavy metal detox. If you have one already that you use and you like it, I would say get to using it. Make sure you use it about 2 weeks. Okay. Back to back to back. Okay. Cleanse those metals, cleanse those out of the body, detox the body. I would strongly recommend, again, following up with a parasite cleanse. Okay. After you do the heavy metal detox, because those parasites are definitely going to want to drop out of the body. You may experience some, but with doing a full-on parasite cleanse, it will push out, more of that parasitic energy out of the body. We definitely need to make sure that we move and get more sun, you guys, because with this heavy metal, it's going to cause a lot of numbness, a lot of sadness, a lot of depression, just a lot of negativity within not just us, but within society. Okay. It's because this heavy, dense energy is really over us as a society. Like I say, getting sick, things of that nature, having bacterial infections is definitely going to be attacking the gut. You will definitely want to protect the gut. These energies is just going to make it hard for us to move forward. It's going to make it, anything that you're trying to move towards is going to create a lot of friction. It's going to create a lot of, distance in between where you are and where you're trying to go. So there's a lot of low vibrational energies. There's a lot of low experiences. There's a lot of low energies out here that are just, going to be trying to knock us back. Okay. And it's like the heavier you are, the more dense you are, the more of these heavy metals that you have in your body, the harder it is for you to feel successful, the harder it is for you to climb that social ladder or climb that success ladder, you guys. This is something that is definitely going to be affecting the world. This is something that is going to be affecting each and every one of us. So, we're just going to have to sacrifice some things. If you consume a lot of alcohol, you're going to have to sacrifice that. And honestly, I'm going to let you know when it comes to water consumption, I don't want to say I'm not recommending anything for anyone. Okay. What I'm going to tell you is what I am doing. Okay. I noticed I have pulled back from drinking bottled water as much, and I am trying to get my water from more natural sources like fruit. Okay. You can get it from leafy greens, right? A nice iceberg lettuce, things of that nature. You want to try to get natural water. The water that we consume out of the bottled water and things of that nature is kind of a processed water. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I noticed when I would do like a 3-day water fast, by the 3rd day, my mouth is dry. I feel very dehydrated and I'm like, I don't get it. I've been consuming all of this water, but it has no electrolytes in it. It was not giving my body the electrolytes that I needed to keep my body hydrated. I was just drinking water and water and water and water. And I felt weak. I felt like so fatigued after day 3, to the point where I couldn't even do a 5-day, because it's kind of like I was starting to feel a little delusional. I'm just like, what? I was just very slow in responsiveness and stuff like that. So I'm like, I don't get it. What's in the water? Like, what's going on with the water? So what I did was I pulled back from consuming bottled water like that. I may have like 1 bottled water, maybe but it's big. It's probably like at least a 16 ounce of bottled water, but I will consume, like watermelon. I will eat like a nice iceberg lettuce, a salad, and try to get more water from more fruits. Okay. And things of that nature, so that you can get actual H2O. The water that we drink out of the bottles, I don't want to speak too much on that, because I don't need these water companies trying to come after your girl, because y'all already know how they are. But yes, this is going to be a very critical time for us, you guys, and this is just us having to be responsible right now. I told you guys 26, 27, 28 are going to be 3 very critical years, because it's going to require us to get on top of our okay. This is where you show if you love yourself or not. This is where you're going to have to become responsible for your body, responsible for your life. It's kind of like, God can only give you what you need to know, but it's up to you to, do what it is that you need to do. So, for those of you who are able to, go to spiritualcandies.com, get inside of this class that we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing a seminar. We're going to talk so much more in detail in regards to what it is that you need to do for this detox, how you're going to do this on either a monthly basis or every other month, but as often as you possibly can, because we have so many of these metals. They're building up and building up and building up within us, you guys, and they are contributing towards our mental health. A lot of us don't understand why it is that we are feeling depressed, or we're not feeling as optimistic as we normally do. We're not as passionate about things as we once were. And that's because we have a lot of heavy metals, which, like I said, that's the bed, that is the feeding ground for parasites. So the more heavy metals you have in you, the more parasites you're going to have, inside of you as well, you guys. And this is just us doing what it is that we need to do to make sure that, we are able to rid ourselves, our frequency, our body of these low vibrational things. Okay. So that's one to grow on, you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to your girl Siren over here on the Siren Speak Show. Y'all, please excuse my low energy. It is like the end of the day for me, y'all. I've been up since umpteen this morning, and I am so exhausted, but I was like, you know what? I have to get these videos up because my gyms need this info. So I'm definitely going to be here to give it to you guys. We're definitely going to talk more and more and more about so many different things about lifestyle, how to heal yourself, how to elevate yourself, how to level yourself up, how to, work on your frequency, work on your mind, you guys, so that you can work fully on yourself. I appreciate you, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye, y'all.